Hello and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. Today I'm reviewing Colour by Marion Deuchars, who is a Scottish-born, internationally acclaimed illustrator. So this book isn't a colouring book, but it is all about colour. It's more of a reference book, or rather an artistic journey through the history, the meanings, the cultural interpretations, all around different colours. So it's a very, very artsy book and very visually stimulating. So rather than it being a textbook, it's like something you'd find in your art room at school. So it's very artsy, very loose and organic rather than structured. So it does tell you all about colour, but it's very simple and pleasing to look at, and obviously very colourful. So it talks a bit about, I'm just going to flip through it while I talk about it. It talks a bit about how colours can provoke thoughts and feelings, and it's a bit like an instinctive language. So there's no alphabet, there's no words. It's just how you feel when you look at a colour, and colours do appear in memories, and they're very prevalent in memories. If you think about something from a long time ago, a memory you have, there will always be colour in it. So it's very strongly linked with our memories and emotions. I mean, think about it like this. Why don't we like certain colours? For example, I don't like the colour orange, but why? Why do we attach an emotional response to something that's so inoffensive? It's just very instinctual, it depends on the person, it's very individual, you know? So it's really interesting actually to sort of delve deeper into that. But it's also got lots of facts about colour. So we go from different countries. For example, in Japan, school children draw their sun as a round red ball, much like the flag of Japan. So it's red is obviously a very important and prevalent colour in Japanese culture. We see some of the swatches taken from different artists' most famous works. For example, this is Edvard Munch's colours from The Scream. Everyone knows that painting. It's really, really popular. And I think as soon as you see these colours, you can identify where they've come from. So I find that really interesting as well. So also there's associated words that we come up with colours. So for example, red often means danger, or love or passion, whereas green might mean jealousy or envy, or even nature. Blue, water, coolness, you know, all these different words that we associate with different colours. So there's also quite a few different fun facts in here. For example, leaves actually turn orange in winter because of the lack of light and water for photosynthesis to occur. So the green chlorophyll disappears from the leaves, leaving them orangey red. Yellow ochre is one of the oldest or the first pigments used by humans. And prawns turn red and orange when they're cooked because they're usually grey, and they turn orange when cooked because those pigments are brighter and they're more stable in the heat. So it's really all-encompassing and very comprehensive, but in a very fun, sort of loosely structured way. So there's also bits about Isaac Newton, obviously the things you learn in secondary school about prismas and refracted light. There is comprehensive swatches of all different tones and their names, some of which are really interesting. It's also the fact that, like this colour here is the same colour as in this square here, but your mind perceives it differently because of the grey. So it's very, very odd. It's how your brain sort of tricks you as well with different colours, like with the blue dress that everyone thought was blue and gold or whatever it was. So it's, yeah, that's really weird as well, how the brain sort of perceives colours. And there's a bit here where apparently red looks twice as bright when it's placed next to grey than it would on a white background, which is so like strange. I've never noticed that before, but it's true. There's all sorts of bits about colour within history. So the ancient Greeks thought that colours were very linear and very worked in light and dark. We now see the colour wheel as something very fluid, and you know, it encompasses all of the different colours that blend together. But ancient Greeks saw colours as, for example, yellow would be darker than white and blue would be lighter than black, but that's how they saw it in a very sort of structured, linear way. So production of this book is brilliant. The paper is glossy and thick. Obviously you're not colouring on it, so it doesn't really matter about tooth and things like that. But one thing especially noticeable about this book is how the printing has had to be absolutely spot on to get all these different hues and tones when they're sat next to each other, make sure that they're separate from each other. You'll see what I mean with the blacks in a moment. So this book really just kind of explores colour in a very fun way. All these different texts, typographies, and you know, drawn pictures and things. So it's really interesting rather than anything else. And here's that black I was telling you about. So I'm not sure whether the camera's going to pick up on this, but each square is a different shade of black. So and these are all the names that you can associate with black. So I just think that's really interesting as well. That's the biggest word to use about this book, just interesting. It's a great one to flick through and have a look at all the different names and shades and cultural, you know, cultural feelings around different colours. So here you see this red on grey and how it really stands out. I think I'm going to be using that in my colouring actually. I'll probably colour something in all different shades of grey and then have a pop of red in there. I think that's going to look amazing. So that's the end of the book. It's quite thick. It's obviously hardback, as I mentioned, and it's just a really fun book to have on the shelf and to have a flick through and hopefully learn a little bit more about colour throughout the ages and throughout the world, basically. So this book is on Amazon UK for £13.77, or you can get it on the Kindle for £9.99. It's on Amazon.com for $24, and it's also on the Book Depository, so I'll be leaving all of those links in the description as usual. If you've enjoyed looking at this review, please do let me know, because I know it's not a traditional colouring book review, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.